Ladies in red. Ladies in red. Ladies in red. Discuss the latest news, just fans giving their views. This channel is red. They see the bar and raise it, plus they rep for the ladies. Trust it's red. Female voices in football. Red. If you want to talk up, it's a red channel for me and you. Subscribe and tune into the Ladies in Red.
Hi guys, welcome back to Ladies in Red. I'm buzzing for this show because you will have already noticed I've got Saeed with me. It's been a long time, Saeed, since I've got you on. And I've saw you at the ground the other day and I thought I've got to get you on at some point because I miss chatting to you.
Yeah.
Firstly, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. You know what I mean? I'm good, honestly. It's been a while. I think the last time we spoke, like online, been like lockdown, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Mad.
It is mad.
And
it's mad. And so much has happened. No, we definitely got to get some FIFA going as well because you've been the big one. You were saying, "Oh, you're going to beat me on FIFA and that." I've played Flex. I need to play you on it at some point. That'd be a good stream, actually. I think that'd be a good stream.
Definitely. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's definitely
I've been good. How have you been?
Not bad. Obviously, really busy with work and whatnot, as you'd expect, being in a school. But yeah, not too bad, thank you. Things could be better on the United front, and we'll get into that in a minute. But yeah, not too bad. I'm glad you're doing well too. Where do we start? Obviously, Ollie, everyone wants to hear us talk about Ollie. Everyone wants to talk about Ollie and his situation. There's a massive game coming up tomorrow, and obviously we're going to give a little preview for that one. But firstly, obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I mean, I was at the Liverpool game. I know you were at the Liverpool game. And beforehand, we were saying, could we possibly do something today? Or are we going to get absolutely murdered? Turned out we were going to get absolutely murdered. I haven't spoken to you since that, really. What's your thoughts on that affair and the fact that he's still in charge?
Baffling, to be honest with you. But before the game, I said I just can't see him winning that game. And I thought it was going to be 2-0 to Liverpool, to be honest with you. But I didn't see it in the 5 coming. And I didn't see the manner in... Like, everyone can say, well, you know, we're playing that poorly, that 5-0 was expected. But I don't think, you know what I mean? Even when you go in that ground, every single feeling you feel as a manager or the players or how many times they've let you down before, you always give them that second chance, don't you, when you're in the ground? You try and back the team, you try and get up for it. But that, for me, was just terrible. Honestly, like, you guys came. I thought, let's say hello. The next, you didn't expect that, did you?
No,
you know what I mean? It's
like...
And I think for me, it was just, honestly, it was terrible. I had like Leslie, who was next to me, saying that was the worst she's seen in 51 years. Fans leaving, atmosphere terrible. You know what I mean? People booing the team, and it's like,
did you leave?
It's not nice to see. No, I didn't leave. The only reason I didn't leave is because I only live right 10 minutes away from Old Trafford. So it was like, I was like, you know what, I might as well just stay, man. You know, let me just see how bad it is, in it. Now, sometimes you have to analyze things in two different ways. Some people can't bear it, but some people need it to kind of analyze how bad the team is. And that time, I just had to let it sink in and just kind of feel like, wow, where's our club gone? You know what I mean? 5-0 against Liverpool. I just had to soak it in. And I think for me, the second half, they let us off. I think it could have been more, but I think Liverpool just took it in. But yeah. And in terms of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I don't know, but that comes down to the board, that comes down to the Glazers. It's out of our control, and that's why for me, I've almost accepted that he's staying till the end of the season, and we just have to. For me, I'm just kind of like just with it. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna support them when I can, and you know what I mean. Just take it in and be like, it's not down to us. It's down to whether the board feel like he's not the right man. If they do feel like that, they would have done that after the Liverpool game. I don't know what they're waiting for. They're trying to almost test our emotions as fans, thinking, oh, you know what? Do you want another drubbing against Man City? Another rivals around the corner,
Well, what I will say, surely if it is another drubbing against Man City, like, does Ollie survive that one? I think is very unlikely, isn't it? But you're right there. I think a lot of the anger that's directed towards Ollie, though, you mentioned it several times, like the board, for me, are the real culprits, do you know what I mean? And that's where it needs to be directed to. And I think a lot of people kind of forgot about that during this whole Ollie saga. I'm not saying you, I'm saying it across the board. And it was obviously he's the front of it, Ollie. Like he's the manager. You know that you have that responsibility. He takes that. But deep down, he's not the true problem. He's maybe a problem, but he's not the problem. Do you know what I mean?
And also, I get that, and you know what it is. It's human nature to kind of like feel that because, I'm a thingy of that because I feel like when you see something every day, you kind of look towards that problem. Whereas things are not in your control. Where the Glazers, like we only look at the Glazers, which I don't think it should be right. Where only transfer windows, we should be judging them every part of the season. And I feel like for me, you can only look at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer because he's the in-house, he's everyday, he's the everyday life thing. And I feel like that's what's kind of like made everyone feel like, because sometimes, you know, when you look at the tactics and you look at everything involved, he's not up to scraps. You know what I mean? But then again, the bigger picture is the Glazers have given him a 4-year contract, so they assume that he's a man for the job in the long term for United. So
I think what's better. Look, I sit on the fence massively with Ollie, and all the people in the chat will back me up. I've never said Ollie out. I've never said any manager out, because that's just not the way I am. I am probably too emotional, and I'll admit that. Like, I want Ollie to do well, of course. I want him to succeed.
Yeah.
I think there's been a bit of a crossover between fans who want Ollie out, but obviously still want the club to win and still obviously hope that they get proven wrong ultimately, or the fans who want Ollie out regardless. Do you know what I mean? It's just because they don't like Ollie, and I'm thinking, well, surely as a fan, you should be thinking, I want to be proven wrong. We all want what's best for the club. Do you know what I mean? Like, we all want the same thing. It's just different opinions.
And ultimately, we're not in control, are we? You know, in the end of it, we're not in control. No matter what we do or what we say, the Glazers and the board will ultimately decide the fate of our football club. You know, they only got Ronaldo and these kind of signings because we came to Liverpool. We said we've had enough of the Super League, and then they try and appease you with the Ronaldo signing, and then it's kind of a short-term happiness. But in the long term, you know, there's still a roof leaking, there's still a gas leaking, and that's the biggest, you know, issue. You know, I mean, I think Ollie has been the kind of you know how you have a little brother, you try to pick up on your little brother, but then you won't always go to the bigger brother. That's what it feels like with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And that's why a lot of the frustrations have become, especially lockdown, where we had nothing to celebrate. We had nothing to kind of like, you know, all we could do is just vent our anger from.
And then we got to a final, and we both witnessed what happened at that.
Oh, don't tell me about that, honestly. I still have nightmares of that, you know, honestly.
No, you are right. And like I'm saying now, I'm not sitting here saying Ollie doesn't deserve criticism and whatnot, and I don't understand where the arguments come from, because I do. I'm not blind to the fact that the performances haven't been good enough. We've seen the same old mistakes. We sign certain players and they're not figuring. Like, I totally understand it. But I'm one of these who like to look at it from both angles. And like I say, I am emotional. I do hope he turns it around. I like the nostalgia of it. I like the fact that he's a legend, and the fact that there's no long-term managers in football anymore. I was kind of hoping Ollie could be that guy. But he's going to prove that he's good enough. And at the minute, he's not, and I accept that. But I think when you look at the facts, like obviously we're just behind City in the table. We've got City tomorrow. If we win tomorrow, it's looking rosy again, isn't it, in terms of the points? Do you know what I mean? And it's just like, realistically, without Ronaldo's goals this season, we'd have been in trouble, wouldn't we?
Bloody hell, I don't know where we'd be. What a guy, honestly. This guy he's not human, I think, because some of the stuff he does at his age, 36 years old, and you know, even that goal, the last-minute winner, Villarreal, just being at the right time. Certain games, like, you know, the one where Atalanta leaping across, and you know, because I'm on the east side, you can just see him, and you know it's going in. And the biggest one is the Atalanta one. He has no right to score from there on a half volley, and do that.
I thought he's dragging it. I was thinking, what's he doing? And it's just like, I've gone into that bottom corner, like smooth as you like.
I know.
It's just, I feel like it's going to be like some corruption years down the line where Ronaldo's actually a robot.
Honestly,
like, I don't think he's human. I just don't feel like he's...
Honestly, he's 36, but his body's like 25 or 20. You know, he's unbelievable. And you know what the thing is, like, he doesn't, like, you won't see him for like majority of the game, and then bang, that moment of quality. And I knew what I was getting Ronaldo. I knew it wasn't going to be the old Ronaldo of down the byline, taking free throw people on, getting, you know what I mean, like quick Ronaldo. I knew it wasn't that. But what I did know is that his quality and his clutch and his, like, you know, his maverick finishing is what you love about Ronaldo. And that's what he's given us. But everyone else hasn't contributed. Everyone else hasn't been on point. And he can't really, you know, you can't really do it anymore. He's scoring the goals. Apparently he scored like 30% of our goals this season, you know, which is just, it's mad when you think of it, like, you know. It's mad.
And some people saying he was a problem and whatnot, and I'm just thinking,
it's mad.
I just don't understand. I just do not understand. Like, how can it be the problem when without him, we'd literally be probably relegation battle? Do you know what I mean? It's just like, we would be. It's ridiculous. In Champions League, we'd definitely be nowhere. We'd definitely be nowhere.
We'd be out. League. We'd be out because we look like we were worse for wear. Real. I thought they deserved to get at least a point. You know, Atalanta. You know, that header. Does anyone else score that? You know, maybe Cavani, but you know, you have to leap. You know what I mean? I don't know if Cavani's got that leap in him. So Ronaldo, for me, I just think
he just hangs in the air, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Hangs in the air.
It literally hangs in the air, and like, you know, you're just thinking like, wow, man. But what a player we're fortunate. And that's why I'm confident tomorrow just a little bit that he might be the difference tomorrow, and I think he will be the difference. If we're gonna get anything out of the game, it's Ronaldo that they're fearing, because any defense, he's done it at every single defense, where that moment where you just kind of lose concentration, boom, he's right there to get that goal. And that's why I'm confident with Ronaldo.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people refer to us as Moments FC, and you'd have to say we have been Moments FC, in particular with Ronaldo this season.
Yeah.
But you are right, in terms of the whole City thing as well. Obviously, he was apparently going to City, and then last minute he comes to United after a phone call with Fergie and whatnot.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying it, and I have to agree with it. If he was probably playing in that team, he'd score many more goals than he has already this season, because obviously, we're not playing very well, if you look at the facts. But with him in our team, you are right, anything is capable of happening, because he just has that magic moment in him. And for him as well, it'd be such a Ronaldo thing to do, to be linked with the team and whatnot, go to the rivals, go back home, if you like, and then score the winner against them. I mean, he just writes headlines, doesn't he?
He does. And the funny thing is, it's like, imagine he went down the road, and I've got a family full of City fans, and they would have been absolutely loving it right now, because all they need is a striker. That's all they need. They need somebody who can bang the ball in the net. So, and they're getting that with Cristiano Ronaldo. So they're not getting that without him, and we're getting that with him. But then it's like we could probably lead with defenders and maybe midfielders that City have. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's a weird feeling. You know what I mean? We have Ronaldo, but at the same time, against Liverpool, it wasn't effective enough because our midfield, our defense wasn't on point.
Yeah.
So it's like, I just hope, that everything else can be saving. Ronaldo can't keep, pulling this out, or can he? Will he do? Because he keeps doing it.
I wouldn't put it past him. I would not put it past him, honestly. A tapping merchant. People were saying he scores goals like he did the other night as well. He's just got everything to his game. I mean, the volley as well. Yeah, class.
He's unbelievable.
He's just. We could just sit here and talk about Ronaldo all night and just be smiling.
Yeah, we could do. Show it.
Magic, but shall we? Because next thing I'm going to talk about is Varane getting injured, and I don't think we'll be smiling about that one. I was about to say, you mentioned defensively there, and obviously, I mean, Maguire. I know you're a fan of Maguire, but his form lately, we all know, has been absolutely shocking. What do you think that is? Do you think he was rushed back too early, Saeed? Or do you think it's not the pressure?
Early. Yeah, rushed back too early, pressure, and I also think the England hangover. Because none of them really have been doing well. If you look at the England team right now, when you look at, there's not one outstanding player that's been doing well. I think everyone's kind of burned out. It was a very, very draining summer, when you look at it, like in terms of the England game, they were playing all the time. You know what I mean? It was the emotion of it, man, kind of that carried the nation. And I'm not saying that's an excuse, but his form, coincidentally, this season hasn't been great. He started the season for me very, very bad. And I thought him and Maguire would, get up a little partnership going on. But Varane's been injured a few times now. Maguire's not been in form. He's had an injury as well. And then it's a feeling of like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Apparently, what the reports were saying, that he was rushed in time. And that, for me, I don't know, especially a player like Maguire, where he needs to have full mobility. He needs to have full kind of fitness, because the way he plays and the way he kind of he jumps into the midfield and he kind of plays in the high line. You need a fully fit Maguire.
Yeah.
So that was a kind of worry for me. But even the Varane one's a bit of a worry as well, because now you haven't got a Varane, and you've got a half-fit Maguire. Yeah, I thought it was 4 weeks, and then Ollie just decided to add another week, and I was like, oh my God, when are we getting him back? You know what I mean? But honestly, I think Maguire's thing is the captaincy as well. It's a huge pressure, but also himself. He'll know that more than anyone that he's not playing well. And I've been disappointed, because I've always backed Maguire. I've always have done, but it's now I look at it now, and I feel like he was the reason why we played good in them, that lockdown period, 2019. We really didn't have a defense, but now we do kind of have a defense with Maguire. Varane. He's now looking a bit like, susceptible to kind of mistakes more.
Do you think it's because he's not the main guy anymore? Do you know what I mean? Like the fact
that's what I think. So absolutely. Yeah. So then now the pressure's on even more.
Yeah. No, it's a good point. I think it's obviously a mixture of things. I think the injury didn't help him as well, and being rushed back the way that he did. But even before that, I mean, you mentioned there other players, Luke Shaw, for example, hasn't kind of hit those heights as he as well. So could be a hangover. It's just baffling, but obviously with Varane being out, I mean, especially ahead
that's a big one for me
against City.
Varane.
We mentioned Ronaldo being a signing, but for me, Varane was the main signing, the one that I was excited about because he's a player that I'd wanted for a long time. I knew what he'd bring to our defence, and it's looked solid, isn't he? It's just the injuries at the minute that are just holding him back,
I
and it's a
know.
shame.
And you know, I mean, I'm just thinking, is that the reason why Real Madrid let him go? That there was a few injuries around the corner. I was thinking, you know, I mean, what? Because I was thinking, why was it so easy for us to get Varane? I was like, bloody hell, like them kind of signings are one in a lifetime. And he's had a few niggles now, you know, muscular injuries. But I don't know what his record is, and let us know in the group in the chat below. But I don't know what his record's like with injuries and muscular injuries. But he's had 2 now so far, which is a worry, you know, especially that hamstring one. Was he rushed back too early? You know what I mean? We'll never know that, you know. Hearsay is a, you know what I mean? You'll never know it other than hearsay. So that's the problem with us. And someone said, hey, Varane gets injured all the time in the past, you know, and that's the thing. And that's what I'm thinking. That's what I love him. But imagine you have a player who just gets injured all the time. You know, we used to have Schweinsteiger. We used to have a lot of players
like Boye, though, isn't it? If we talk about Boye, we all know. I mean, look how good he was the other night. But then keeping him fit is another thing. Like, obviously, we call him the glass man and all sorts because he's just like injured too much, and he's so good. Just imagine a fully fit Boye for a season. Do you know what I mean?
That's the thing, though. We can't think of it. We can't think of it.
Would you start him against City?
Bailly? I would, yeah. I'll play him in a back 2. You know what I mean? But then, because Lindelof apparently, I don't know. Have you heard anything from Lindelof? Doubtful,
yeah.
That means he'll play then. So we'll play a back 3, you know. And I think he should play because it gives us that kind of, you know, that feeling of aggressive. He's tenacious. He always tries to battle.
He's quick as well.
He's quick, which we don't have apart from Varane.
Yeah.
You know? So, you know what I mean? That's what I feel like for me, Bailly, you know, he deserves it.
He probably would.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's crazy, but I think I've always loved Bailly. Even when he came in the first season, Mourinho, you know what I mean? I loved him then. You know what I mean? I just think it's always been a fan favourite, but it's never given opportunities. And it's almost like we've had like a wasted talent at United for so many years. And now, like every time United play, and we talk about Bailly, it's always like the unknown. Like we always say he's quality, but it's like we haven't seen enough of him. You know, we've seen him like here and there, and that's been the shame for Bailly. Never been consistent enough in terms of like available. Yeah, that's it. You see, you know.
Yeah, and hopefully he can. Hopefully he can go on a run because I do think he's a great addition to our squad. And obviously with Varane injured as well, Maguire not playing well, Lindelof doubtful. Like it's really good to have Boye as an option. I'm just hoping he can keep fit. I thought he was absolutely superb the other night. And I would start him against City 100%. Santiago says, do you think they'll sit back and play the counter again or overstack the midfield and try and fight off City? What do you reckon, Saeed?
I think you've got to sit back against City. You go toe to toe with them, it could be 4-5-0 like Liverpool. I know, and that's me. And that's me. You know, obviously everyone knows I'm not the biggest fan of volley, but that's me. And even then, I wouldn't even go toe to toe with City because they will destroy you. You know what I mean? So you've got to be measured in your approach, when to attack, when to defend. That in-game management that we all kind of see that maybe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer lacks. That's where he's got to be very brave enough to say, you know what? When we sit back like Chelsea do, there's nothing wrong with it. But then you have to have a plan when you go forward. You know, and that's been the Achilles heel. But can we do that? Can we recover? Because you've got to recover in your runs, you know, and can the players
that's what we haven't been doing.
Yeah,
and that's in that midfield.
Yeah, in that midfield that's where I worry because what they'll do is they'll recycle the ball all the time and they'll keep recycling it. So when we lose the ball and we try and look like we're getting into shape, they'll recycle it, Rodri, into this tight spaces, and that's what they'll do. And that's my worry with McTominay and Fred. Yes, they'll give you energy, but if they don't get hold of the ball and they can't keep the ball, you know, it's gonna almost be like, you know, lost cause, you know, lost battle. So I just think we have to be organised. We have to be organised.
I agree with this. I think you look at the Liverpool game and games before that, even games like Newcastle where we got the win, even in Leeds game, to be fair, like when teams counter on us, like the gaps that we have are far too big. And we saw it against Liverpool. Atalanta, to be fair, we saw it against them, but luckily like they couldn't finish. Like City are going to be clinical. We can't play like that. We can't play that. We do need to be more disciplined. We do need to recover, as you mentioned there.
Absolutely.
And it's just, for me, it's a simple decision making as well. Like go to the ball. I think we see too much of us where we're a bit hesitant. We're not going to the ball or we're not dropping off. We're kind of in between. You're in no man's land. So we've got to make a decision and we've got to press. And we don't press as a team, you know it. But against City, you'd imagine they're going to have a majority of the ball. It's going to be a case of us trying to counter that. That's the way that I would see it. To be fair, in the past, Ollie's done pretty well against City, you'd say.
4, unbeaten in 4, I think it is.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. He's got to be going into this a bit confident. He obviously might feel like he's got Pep kind of figured out in the derby, but form goes out the window. It's cliche. We always say it, form goes out the window. And the way that we're playing at the minute, you'd think City would be going into this thinking, oh, can we beat Liverpool score?
Yeah, it's true. And City are coming into it thinking United are an awkward team, you know what I mean? You don't know what you're going to get with them, you know what I mean? It could be easy as 5-0, but it could be easy as they get 1-0, we sit back and then we hit them on a counter, it's 2-0.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we have got dangerous players. You know, a lot of people don't realise we have got dangerous players. You know, it's just that we can't really manage it together when, you know, we try to get the right team in, you know what I mean? Are we playing a lot of favourites in there? Are we, you know, Sancho, Donny van der Beek, can they get that time in the team?
Yeah.
Manchester Derby, what a name for Sancho. You know, to start a Manchester Derby and play well, that would boost his confidence again even more. But again, what are the likelihood of that going? It's about finding a balance, and that's the key with Man City. If you find a balance with them, you know, I mean, it could be a good even game. But the thing is, we just know there's going to be certain things happening, and that's going to be the hindrance for us. So I just think for me, you know, I look at it and I think I'm ready for City, but are the team ready? Because we're always there, we're supporting the team, but is the team and the coaching staff ready?
We never know what United's going to turn up. I think that's what it comes down to. Like, that's the frustrating thing about us. We know the squad we've got, we know the personnel we've got, and on our day we can beat anybody. Genuinely, I mean that, but we just don't see that day enough. Like you said, that Leeds game, the first game of the season, was probably the most complete performance you'd seen. But even then, we gave away chances and conceded goals. Do you know what I mean? So I think, like, we've been consistently poor. I think that's the only consistency we've had this season, is that we haven't been good enough. Ollie said it himself.
Inconsistent. That's what they say.
Exactly. Exactly. City will press our defence. That worries me. When we try and play out from the back, we do it so slow. We did against Liverpool many times. I mean, Keita scored pretty much from it as well. Like, the playing out from the back, when teams press us, we panic. There's no movement. There's no options on the ball. Does that come down to the players, or does that come down to tactics? Like, for me, is it players hiding? I agree. I agree with you completely. I do think it's both. Because why keep trying it then? If it's not working, switch it up. And we don't. We seem to keep persisting with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's both. I think it's a lot of players who lack a little bit of discipline. You know, I mean, you don't need to be babied into the game, you know what I mean? But then also there's a kind of in-game management of, you know, we can't all just kind of, you know, do our own thing. You know, you got to tell Bruno, I know he wants to press and I know he's trying hard, but you can't go. Can you leave it? You're vacating McTominay and Fred, who aren't the you know, the best in terms of kind of a pair, are they? You know what I mean? And I feel like that's can be the worry for me. So it's trying to find that balance again. But, you know, I just feel like, do you want to experiment against Man City? You know, it's the worst game you want to experiment. And our home form in the Premier League is very, very, you know, we've lost to Villa, draw to Everton, lost
it's
to
consistently
Liverpool.
Consistent, Saeed, that's what it is. It's consistently consistent.
Even the Newcastle game, I thought we were a bit like, you know, they had a few chances and then we were lucky, you know. So then I think Leeds game was a unique game. That was the first game of the season. United were up for it. We destroyed
Varane was
them.
Introduced. It was like,
buzzing. But then again, we've not been able to kind of manage with the, you know, when the feeling afterwards, where the kind of you know, excitement goes away. Can we go on down and play? You know, and this is a game before the international break. I don't want to be sad during the international break, you know, and we need, and that's why for me it's a massive game. Regardless, I think the fans just want to see players fighting, the players, you know, showing a bit that they care, you know, and the manager showing a bit like, you know, that we can at least provide something. You know what I mean? Can he get something for the fans to believe in for the rest of the season? But I just don't see it, and that's the problem. And you know what I mean? And it's a worry for me. But you never know, when all his chips are down, he somehow manages to pull it out. And
we'll need a good performance. Fact, like we won't get lucky against City. I think we need to perform. We need to turn up.
And they need it. For me, it's the biggest derby I can remember. I don't know about you.
Just a lot of pressure on it, especially for us. And obviously previous derby, especially in lockdown and stuff, when they're like training games as well. Like, this won't be like that at all. Obviously, fans are going to be there. It's going to be an interesting one. Look, I'm glad I'm not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer picking a team going into this one, because you're kind of torn between, do you go with what I know and my experience, or do you risk it and play players who potentially could win us the game? I mean, Van der Beek obviously coming on the other day, he had a little snapshot as well. Pogba's suspended. A lot of people are arguing maybe Donny should come in and play instead of Pogba then, or even in future, because Pogba hasn't signed that deal, not looking like he wants to stay. Should Donny be given a chance? After all, he could be our future.
Oh, honestly, the mysterious case of Donny van der Beek, honestly, you know what I mean? Because I just kind of like, I'm just so sad for him because what potential that he came with, everything that he came with, you know what I mean? It's just sad to see that it's not happened for me. And, you know, we've been crying out for a midfielder for ages, you know, you're looking at Ander Herrera, Schweinsteiger, Schneiderlin, you know, all these players have been iffy, you know what I mean? They've been kind of like, you know, they just haven't been able to kind of establish themselves in the Premier League. You know, and we thought we've got one in Donny van der Beek, you know, but, you know, someone says we'll play a few minutes, I expect. Yeah, well, I don't think in this kind of pressure game, Ollie will even think about him. And that's the saddest part of it because, you know, he knows who, like, I could tell you if we're losing who Ollie will pick. It will be, for me, Jesse Lingard. It will be Martial. And I think it will be Sancho, them three. I just don't see Donny van der Beek in that. You know, even with Pogba, even with Cavani, I just don't see him getting the game time. I honestly don't. And that's the saddest thing about it, really, because, you know, you want to play like Donny van der Beek to play because you know his qualities, but has he just come to United in the wrong part of his career and the wrong part of United, really?
Yeah, and we mentioned earlier in that midfield, the ball retention, being able to keep hold of the ball, and you're going to be pressed. Donny under pressure, when he is being pressed, like, he's such a tidy player, isn't he? Like, he rarely loses the ball. For me, he would be the perfect player to put in there just for the link up between attack and defence. I mean, was it against Newcastle? Was it last season when we did that little counter-attack goal and Bruno put it like
unbelievable goal?
Donny started that off. That's what he brings. You know what I mean? He can play between the lines.
The Leipzig
I would
game,
like to see more.
You know,
the Leipzig game as well. And I thought when he came on the other night, like I say, he looked sharp. He had that little chance, half chance towards the end as well. Sancho as well was another one who came on. So I'm not panicking about Sancho. Donny I'm worried about because he's a player that we bought obviously for 40 million.
Sancho,
we need midfielders. I'm not worried about him yet because for me, like I'm not going to lie and say I watched loads of Bundesliga. I didn't. Obviously, I've seen YouTube videos of him and like little highlights and whatnot, and he looks decent. But for me, he was always like a potential player. Do you know what I mean? I never fully expected him to hit the ground running straight away. I thought he might be one that we need to ease in. And don't get me wrong, I like the look of him. I think he's talented, but I'm not too worried about it. I think even for England, when I've seen him, he hasn't really set the world alight. Do you know what I mean? He looks decent, and he looks like one of these. I think he'll get better in time, but I want to see him on the right hand side though, because when we have brought him on, he's played on that left,
the thing.
And that's the frustrating thing because we all know that that's where he'd probably prefer to play.
And that's why I'm like, you know, I'm a bit worried because I thought he would have been played at least because we've been needing a right winger for ages, and then all of a sudden we get a right winger and we don't play him. That's my worry because
I think he would have though.
He would play him. You know,
if Ronaldo didn't come in,
thought he would play him.
Sorry. Yeah. I was going to say, I think he would have if Ronaldo didn't come in because I think Greenwood obviously is playing so well. He doesn't want to drop Greenwood, so he's been forced out onto that right hand side. And then obviously Ronaldo's in the middle, but then that's took Sancho's spot.
I know. So what do you do? Short term happiness for Ronaldo over a kind of a feeling of, you know what, Sancho's going to be here, or he might not be in 2 years and said, I'm going to pack it in. I still believe he would think that he would turn around for him.
Yeah,
you know, but I think in modern, do you not think in modern times now though, it's not the same maybe as Fergie's era where you got social media, you got pressures of the English squad where I feel like for me, this English squad now gets a bit overplayed. You don't go in one tournament and everyone goes mad. You know, it's not the end of the world. You know what I mean? Like, if you play over the course of the season, you will get into that tournament. But now, if you don't make one, it will make big headlines. And they see that. Their PR team sees that. The agent sees that. You know, you only got to look at Southgate with Mason Greenwood. I don't know what's going on there. It looks like a bit of a kind of a falling out. Apparently, his dad's got involved. And it just don't make sense. And it just shows you, like, this is the new modern era now. It's that player power has a strong influence and a lot of expectations of them as a brand because footballers are like brands now because they come with Puma deals, Nike deals. And if they're not seeing them setting the world alight, it's like, well, what are you giving us, Sancho? What are you giving us, player? I mean, you're not really doing well, are you, at the minute? So it's sad, really, but it's a pressure game, isn't it?
It is a pressure game, exactly. You are right. It's a business more than anything, isn't it? It's a business.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Decimus said that I'll play Ronaldo short term. I think if you got Ronaldo, you have to play him. And we've already said without his goals, where would be this season. And I always thought Green would have probably be the predecessor to him. That's when Ronaldo came. My initial thought was all these rumours of Haaland, like that's done. Do you know what I mean? Like, we ain't getting Haaland now with Ronaldo coming in. That was my thought, because Greenwood, I expect to take the mantle afterwards. I would personally love to see Rashford, Ronaldo, and Sancho as a front three. That's what I would like to see at some point in this season. I'm not saying tomorrow, but at some point in this season, I would like to see that. And then Greenwood, obviously, like I say, I think for me, he'll be a number 9 in future. That is his position. But yeah, in terms of Van der Beek, I mean, I've rumours obviously he'll be going in January and whatnot. I hope that doesn't happen. I hope it doesn't happen. It's obviously due to have twins as well, so congratulations to him and his wife.
Yeah, big up.
Yeah, but yeah, and Cavani's out tomorrow as well. So by the way, that was breaking news.
That's a big one.
We went on. I'm gutted.
That's a big one, you know. You know why? Because I mean, I think they would have played up front. I think they would have played up front for the derby, and also it's an option off the bench when things are not going well. You know what I mean? I don't know what's happening with Martial at the minute, so he would have been that option. But that's a big one for me. I don't know how serious it is, but I don't know where these injuries come from. I'm starting to get a bit worried. You know, where did these injuries come from? Like, he played all right. Did he not come on or something? Or played decent?
Yeah. Apparently he did it in the Spurs game. So then everyone's like, well, he got 90 minutes, didn't he? So yeah, I don't know. So, but Cavani strikes me as the kind of guy who would try and play through it, though. And obviously afterwards, it's probably look worse than what it would have been. Do you know what I mean? So but I'm just gutted. I'm gutted. I mean, seeing him and Ronaldo on the pitch is just class, isn't it? Obviously, old strike force, but I love it. Yeah. And Cavani's energy that he brings as well, his pressing, his work rate. And I think it's infectious. I think when he presses, like, he encourages other players to press. I mean, we see it so often from Bruno, but having him and Cavani doing that press and trying to drag others up the pitch as well. Like, I feel we need as many characters as you can, especially in a derby game. So the fact that Cavani isn't there, I'm totally gutted by that. 35 mil, 20 games in 15 months. Why? I think we're all asking that question, Lone Star. We're all asking
it. That's a question that we're asking, isn't it?
Yeah. So do you think we'll go front two tomorrow then? Because obviously you said the three at the back. So
I think we'll go front two. I think we'll go Ronaldo, Rashford. So I think it'll be Ronaldo, Rashford, to be honest with you. And I think that's the only sensible way, because I think we're still leaking in goals. So I still don't think, you know, I mean, even the goals of, you know, Tottenham was Tottenham because they're terrible. You know what I mean? But the Atlanta game still confirmed to me why, you know, we still need to play a back five with Maguire at the minute. You know, he's still a bit shaky, you know. But then again, if Lindelof's out, then Shaw might go left centre back. But then you're bringing in Telles into an absolute mammoth game with no real kind of game time. You know, it's a bit tight on him, isn't it?
It is. And I've got to be honest, I haven't majorly been impressed with Telles. I know he scored that absolute worldie against Villarreal. And I kind of feel for him, though, because I feel like he needs to run the games, and you said it there, like, coming into a big game like that, like, what you're kind of setting him up to fail in a sense. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's harsh to do that, especially in a new system as well, if he's not used to playing that at United as well, because when he has played, I believe he's been part of a back four. So, yeah, obviously Luke Shaw, I think he's played at left centre-back before. He can do that, definitely. But in terms of Telles, it's an interesting one. What's your thoughts on Wan-Bissaka playing in that wing-back role? For me, I think he'd look better for it.
He looks better. He looks like he's got no added pressure. He could just go bomb on forward. He can be a bit more adventurous. He looks better like that, you know, for me, because I look at him when he's on the right back. He hesitates a lot. You know, he kind of like, looks like he's got like the weight on his shoulder. I think as well, positionally, he can afford to leave his position vacated, knowing that the extra centre back can help out. You know, so it kind of helps him. You know what I mean? And it helps him kind of bomb and focus. I thought he got into dangerous positions. You know what I mean? And maybe the fact that he's getting into dangerous positions can help his crossing a little bit more, rather than he wasn't getting in them at a right back role. And it's like then we're getting caught at the back. So maybe that might give him more confidence. But I think he's been playing better. And I always say with Wan-Bissaka, I feel like he grows into it more when he's needed more. So when we're conceding goals or anything like that, or we're not playing shaking, we're shaking at the back. We need that person who's very, very good defensively 1v1. We've got that in Wan-Bissaka, and I think he always rises to situations where I
think when he makes like a mad tackle as well, it like lifts everyone. Like when you're in moments like that, you just want to see a crunching tackle, and 9 times out of 10 it's Wan-Bissaka who plays it.
Absolutely, and that's what I love about him. And you know what? Yeah, for the 50 million we've got, if he stays for 10 years, it'll be worth it. But it just, I think going forward there's still room improvement. But I think overall defensively as a right back, he's solid. He gives you a good 7 out of 10 every week. Defensively.
Yeah.
So
it does. We touched on this just if we get pasted tomorrow, will Ollie survive? I personally can't see it. Not if we get absolutely mullered like we did against Liverpool, Saeed.
I don't think either way. I think he's still staying to the end of the season. I just think like that Liverpool game should have been the moment where Ollie was sacked, but I just don't see it happening. I think the Glazers, I've not got a man to replace him. I don't think they've they've got one in mind, and they're just thinking, you know what, can he get any worse? If he gets top 4, then I think that will be kind of the barometer of how much he can achieve. So maybe let's stick with it, because if it's given him a contract, they have to pay him out. So I would say he's staying either way, really, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Did you want Conte?
I wanted Conte because I wanted him for a reason, because I felt like he could compete with the rest of them. And I feel like that was what was available at that point.
Yeah.
And if it was available, why not? But
yeah,
the board I've seen otherwise. Apparently, he didn't come along with the financial side of the Glazers, what they were trying to do, which is it's crazy, to be fair.
Yeah, it doesn't fit their fitness model, doesn't he? I don't think he's not a yes man. They obviously want someone who's going to buy into their regime, and Conte just doesn't strike me as that guy.
No.
You know what? I was kind of mixed on it. I think one side of me is thinking, you know what? I think the players need to take some accountability as well. And I think that he doesn't take. It's what happened with him and Costa. Like, he doesn't take any passengers, and I think he would make players accountable. Do you know what I mean? And obviously the way that he's on the sidelines as well, I think he would lift players and lift the fans, and I like that about him. Style of play obviously isn't amazing, but obviously we changed our style of play under Ollie now as well. Like, for me, that wasn't a major, because we just want to win things. But the other thing was, for me, like, he's quite a short-term manager. Like, 2 years with at Chelsea, second year turned toxic. I feel like one thing that Ollie has got right, and he has done, and I'm sure most people would say this, is he's got us back on the straight and narrow, if you like. Like, there's no toxic feel to United. You know what I mean? Like, the dressing room seems balanced, it seems calm, everyone seems to get on. If Conte comes in, I don't know if like certain egos are going to challenge, and it's going to become more toxic. That was my fear as well. And I wouldn't want to undo the work that we've already got. I'm not saying obviously it's a finished article, but I just feel like Ollie has put like the foundations in. Do you know what I mean? And
I get what you mean.
That was my other worry. But there's no doubt about it. Conte obviously is a winner. And like I say, I do feel like he'd hold players responsible, because I do think there's certain players who need to take responsibility as well. It's not all on Ollie. You see some of the individual mistakes that have been made. Do you know what I mean? Ollie can't go on the pitch.
No, 100%. I think it's been a mixture of both, and I feel like the Conte one. I just feel like as much as I want it to happen, I feel like it would never happen. With the Glazers in charge, I feel like they've kind of like seen Mourinho and thought, nah, we're not going back to that anymore. I think Oliver Solskjaer for now, I think will stay to the end of the season, and they're gonna just hope and pray he kind of gets something out of it. Really, I think that's what United fans are hoping, that it kind of fixes it around. But I would have gone for Conte, but Ten Hag for me is the one in the summer that I want, because he's the one that kind of will work with what we've got if we don't go to a full rebuild, So if that's the case, then I would go for me would be Ten Hag. I think he's the one where he'll play the right type of football. I don't think Zidane wants to come. Apparently, he's looking for the France job. So I don't know if he'll come here, adapt into the English language and everything so like that. So I think Ten Hag would be the perfect one for me.
Yeah, obviously we're linked to Brendan Rodgers as well. That is another one. Ten Hag would be my ideal. If Ollie was to go, he would be my ideal one. And I was talking to Zio, who's in the chat just there, Zio, who's done the song on the intro, by the way, that is Zio, so make sure you all give him a follow. But he said, if very many players we will lose if we keep Ollie in the summer. Well, we're already talking about the likes of Pogba and Van der Beek, and it is a concern. But yeah, I think we were talking the other day, and we were talking about the likes of like Rodgers and whatnot. Ten Hag is the one that stands out to us. And I asked the question, what if the club do keep Ollie till the end of the season, but it's with the idea that Ten Hag comes in the summer, and that's why we haven't gone for Conte. I said, would you accept a poorer season under Ollie if it meant we were getting Ten Hag, who's the ideal manager for many at the end? Like, how would you feel about that?
I think I would take that, because I think there isn't anyone out there, is there? Because I think I wanted Conte. I probably would not send that question if Conte was available. But the fact that Conte is available, then we have to. I think there is no choice. A lot of people they're saying these questions, and then we have no say. You know what I mean? It's going to happen. You know, so it's like when people are talking about, would you do this and would you do that? But the club are not taking the decision out of our hands. So, I think it gets crazy, but they could appoint Roger. They could appoint Southgate. They could appoint even Steve Bruce. Who knows what they could do? You don't know, do you?
DNA.
Honestly,
Steve Bruce got a DNA, honestly.
DNA, it's like, he knows about the club. It wouldn't surprise me if Steve Bruce was a United manager in the summer.
Yeah, you are right though. There's certain things that are out of our control, and obviously the Super League happened. That's another mad thing that happened, and we haven't even spoken about that. But obviously the fans protesting and whatnot, and fair play, like fan power came into it definitely and overruled it. But I was talking to Phil Brown yesterday, and obviously he got ties with United, and he said about a conversation he'd had with Ed Woodward, and Woodward said he'd resigned because he didn't want to buy into that. And obviously said, obviously we can believe that or not, like, but he said if that is true, then it just shows that the Glazers literally do not give a toss about who works in the club, who does the roles, as long as they conform to their. It's all about money. It's all about money, and that's what it is. That is the issue. The issue is above Ollie. Don't get me wrong. Ollie needs to improve with what's happening on the pitch. I'm not denying that, but the true anger for me should be directed above.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. That it's always glazed out. It has to be, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, they're ultimately running our football club to the decisions that they want to do. So, yeah.
And obviously, Ronaldo coming in, it was a way of trying to silence that, wasn't it, as well?
Yeah.
Like we all know
appease the fans.
Yeah, definitely.
Appeasing the fans.
Did you see, by the way, someone sent FIFA in there, and it just reminded me. Did you see the clip of Steve Bruce running on FIFA 22?
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, rapid. That was jokes. That is jokes, honestly. Honestly, it's mad how people recorded it. You know what I mean? I've seen so many things like that. I never record them, so that is crazy. Honestly,
I know even some Maximum commented on it. He's funny on Twitter, by the way. But yeah, he commented on it and it cracked me up. It's like Boss has got more pace than me or something like that. But are you worried about Newcastle now with their takeover and that? Obviously Eddie Howe going there?
I think Eddie Howe's a decent appointment, to be honest with you. A lot of people are kind of like humming and hawing, but I think it's a decent appointment. He'll restructure their football club. You know what I mean? He's a good manager. They're not going to go and get a big name, you know what I mean, straight away, So he's a person that can get, stabilize them, you know what I mean? He might be one of them where he gets sacked down the line in about a year or two when they're getting bigger players and bigger egos, and then he'll be the kind of man to fall back. But for now, he'll get them to a level, and I think, fair play to him. He's got a brilliant job now.
I hope he buys Solanke. That's why I hope he buys Solanke.
Yeah.
And
he probably will.
It's an interesting
one. 20 million.
It's an interesting project for them, isn't it? And like, to be fair, Newcastle fans have suffered for a while now. Like I've got a few mates who are Newcastle fans and their fans are fantastic as well. And yeah, it's been quite bad for a while for them. So obviously they've got this over the line now. And I'm really interested to see what happens with them, because Newcastle, obviously, remember back in the day, I'd love it if we beat them and that. Like if we could get them kind of days back, like it'd be quality, wouldn't it? But yeah, we're going to round up Saeed soon, and we're going to discuss obviously our predictions, and obviously in the chat get your predictions for tomorrow's derby as well. But before we do that, we haven't picked our midfield, so obviously we've gone with defence. Who's in the midfield for you then tomorrow?
Tomorrow, I think it'll be Fred and McTominay, and Bruno just above him. Yeah, I think that's what will happen. I think there's no even point even saying what's our lineup. I think it's what will happen. Should be about United. What should happen, and them two will be there. So McTominay, Fred, and I think Bruno Fernandes will be in that midfield. Yeah,
and then out wide.
Out wide, I think it'll be. No, I think it'll be a back five. So I think it'll be.
Ronaldo, so you went Rashford and Ronaldo, didn't you? Yeah.
Rashford, Ronaldo, and then the back five.
I forgot you said them.
Yeah, Wan-Bissaka, Bailly. I think Lindelof will pass fit, and then it'll be Maguire, and then Shaw, and then De Gea in there. I think it'll be literally that, and it wouldn't surprise me if it wasn't anything that. I don't see Matic playing in a high intensity game like that. When's the last time you see Matic in a big game? Not really. Pogba would have not played either way. Cavani would have played instead of Rashford, but he's out. And that's my team really, and I think Ronaldo is our hope tomorrow in the East Stand. You know what I mean? Let's hope and pray.
See, I said this sounds awful when you've just gone through that there. I'm hoping we don't get another Fred out this weekend, I swear, because Fred in that midfield with McTominay, it's just stressful, isn't it? But
stressful.
Like I said earlier, though, you never know what United's going to turn up, and I think they owe the fans a performance, especially after that Liverpool game. For me, like I said, the Spurs game, whether we won or lost it, I think, obviously I wanted us to win, but I meant in the context of things, that was a nothing game for me. That didn't change anyone's mind because Spurs was poor, and obviously we all cried out for a mad performance. And to be fair, there was a decent performance, but it wasn't exactly like the blew us away with that performance as well. So this is a game where they could appease fans, could give a bit of an apology for what happened against Liverpool. And in my opinion, this is the one, isn't it? So hopefully we do see a bit of a comeback. Zio, I can't believe you've done that. 3-0 to City, 1-1 draw there, 3-0 City. 4-0 City. Look how positive you are in the chat, Saeed. 1-0 to
Telling you,
United.
man. And you're going to be
3-1.
surprised at my one.
2-1 to United to Zoe. Big up to Zoe. Yeah, we know Cavani's out and we're gutted about that, Andrew. 4-2 to United. I'd take that. I said, imagine if you got a last minute Ronaldo winner. I would take that definitely as well. But yeah, go on, Saeed, what's yours?
I'm going for 2-1 United.
2-1 United.
Because I've seen this happen time and time again. You know, when the chips are down, Ollie managed to pull it out. And I think he'll do it. And I think the Ronaldo factor, last minute winner Ronaldo, that's what I'm going for. It'll be 1-1 and last minute winner Ronaldo.
Let's get doing a C in front of the City fans.
Exactly, literally.
Yeah, that'd be class.
Go down. So
yeah,
2-1 United. Honestly, I'm not lying, man. I'm being serious, man. I've seen this before. And yeah, United are going to win.
You know what? I kind of agree with Lonstar to a sense. I think both teams will score. Both defences I don't think are outstanding. Obviously, we already know about ours. But in terms of City, I feel like with who we've got attacking, if it is Rashford and Ronaldo, with Bruno as well, I feel like we have got enough quality going forwards to cause them problems. We just need to get it right tactically. We need to be able to pounce on their mistakes when they lose the ball. They'll have the majority of the ball, no doubt about it. And it's about being able to make the most of it when we do get that ball. But yeah, I think both teams will score. You know what? I don't think 2-1's a bad shout. I said 3-2 yesterday, and I'm going to stand by 3-2. Again, I said a last-minute Ronaldo winner, though. That's what I would like to see. But I don't care who scores. Maguire can score with his arse for all I care. Just want us to get that win, to be honest with you.
Yeah, literally, it could go anywhere. We don't mind. But then again, it's like, you know, I just think, like, you know, with the team, the way we're playing right now, I just feel like, you know, we're gonna be individual brilliances will win us a game. And I feel like United will get that with Ronaldo. And I feel like he's our only hope. I just don't see anyone else on form. Yeah. Maybe Rashford, you might see, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think it's gonna be a Ronaldo winner for me. So yeah. Now at least we go into a short break, because if you look at it, this game is massive for United as well, because when you look at it, you know, we lose this game, we're 11 points behind Chelsea, and then it's become a top 4 battle.
Yeah.
You know, because if Chelsea will win against Burnley, let's not kid ourselves. They will win.
I'd love it if they didn't know. I would love it if they didn't.
I know. It's
Ashley
got hope
Barnes,
for Burnley.
Chris Wood.
Yeah.
Someone. Yeah. No, do you know what, Burnley, though, to be fair, like, you can't write them off, because you just know they've got, normally it's against us, to be fair, but you just know they've got that performance in them where they can just cause hassle. Do you know what I mean? And it won't be an easy game, I don't think. But then again, Chelsea is the type of team who will just go there and turn them over. And it's like it's a lot of us who tend to struggle.
Exactly.
Yeah. But obviously Liverpool have got West Ham as well, which West Ham have a quality this season. So I think that'll be an interesting game.
That'll be a tough game as well.
Yeah.
That'll be a tough game.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But Saeed, thank you so much again for coming on. I really do appreciate it. Obviously, let people know where they can find you as well and give you a little subscribe.
Yeah, man. Please, big up to Soph, family on the channel. Big up Ladies in Red. And yeah, man, Saeed TV right there. Right there.
You got it.
Saeed TV. Big up to everybody, man. Just keep liking, keep subscribing, and yeah, big up.
Appreciate that. Thank you, and obviously I hope it's a good game for you tomorrow. Obviously you're at Old Trafford, so yeah, hopefully the atmosphere is good and the result matches that. Love that. I'll be keeping an eye out for your videos and whatnot as well, as we always do.
Big up.
Thank you, Saeed, for that. Obviously, make sure you go and subscribe to him and go and follow him on Twitter as well, Saeed TV. Always entertaining, great opinions, and loads of regular content I'm noticing as well, which is fantastic. So yeah, make sure you go and give him a follow. Obviously, if you are new to Ladies in Red, drop a subscribe on it, please. Hit a like on the video, and if I have missed any of your questions or your chats, just put it in afterwards and I'll check the comments and I'll do it there. But yeah, all that's left to say is come on, United. Hopefully a positive start to the weekend. Early kickoffs, it's make or break for the weekend. Hopefully it's a good one this weekend. Keep smiling, guys. I'll be back this weekend. See you soon.
Take care.